I'm just over here moving and moving my mouth and going yappity 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 yappity. So I just have to repeat a lot of stuff. So I started out the day, went to pick up a, I go to, well, I had to go get a pizza for my cousin who wanted a pizza. She wanted a pepperoni and sausage and banana pepper thin crust pizza. I got that, took it to her. That's Lois Thompson, my first cousin. And then I went to Brushy Creek by way. I had to go 119 to Pikeville, take care of some business. I go down Brushy Creek, and I'm videoing. I'm going live all the way down in, and that, to the point where the signal is gone. There's no more connectivity. Growing up, we said you had to take the sunlight with you, and no doubt that included the electromagnetic spectrum because, well, there was none down there. So I go all the way down. I start recording on my phone, and I'll share a lot of these clips as time goes on. But I went to the Apple Orchard Church where my grandparents on my mom's side are buried. The whole place is cousins, first cousin, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever. They're all down in there, a bunch of them. And I consider Brushy Creek to be like the Garden of Eden for Pike County, because that's where we all on my mom's side originated, and the family settled back there around 1800, 1795 to 1805, somewhere in that period of time. So anyway, yeah, I went down there. I went to the cemetery, checked out my grandparents, Edna and Oliver Scaff, and Lois's mom is buried right between them, Mabel Scaff Crabtree, and then there's three kids to the right of that, and no names on the markers, but I know that there are three of the children of the family. So, so I go to Pikeville and go take care of some business, come back here, and then that's where I ran into the show that my brother had on as I was fixing supper with the Five, where Greg Gutfeld was actually going around talking about trans people, of course, talking about trans people. And then he said, and this is the path forward. And at which point I sent a message that says, thanks for the shout out, Greg, because this is the name of this show. Anyway, so let's go over to Twitter and let's see what's been happening in the world of Twitter. This is so much fun for me to do. And I'm on my anti fascist Twitter account, and the bios, the pictures are all real. That's me. That's just the way it is. That's who I am, day in, day out. I don't put up a fake name. I don't put up a fake image or an avatar. I really think that's dishonorable to do that. I really just find it disgusting that you have to hide behind an assumed name. And now I know your assumed name, whoever's doing all that stuff, you didn't get it approved with the courts. Oh, so I can rail on you. Unlike our vice president, J.D. Vance, who legally changed his name from Bowman to Vance, which I will respect. Got it legally changed. That's perfectly fine. I'm good with that. Disagree with everything else, especially his hillbilly elegy, which he's from around here. His family, he's got family here, and we're related in distantly in certain ways. And no, not in certain ways, just specifically related. And yeah, yeah. So, but I will respect his request, legal request to be identified as J.D. Vance. But these people over here on Twitter, now they've just assumed all kinds of crazy stuff. There are some people who actually do tell you who they are. They aren't afraid to tell you who they are, and they're honorable people. Just from that fact alone, at least that part of it is good. So let me just share the screen. Let's go see if anybody has had any comments of stuff that I would like to talk about. Are you ready? Oh, before I jump into that, there is one thing I do want to talk about specifically. So there was a letter sent out from Ken Paxton's office in Texas. Do y'all know what this is? Y'all heard about this yet? He is now asking, and look, these people are incrementalists. They go get one thing as much as they can, and then they'll just push it. You would think they would wait at least a couple of months, but no, this is like a couple of days. But so they've ordered the 10 Commandments to be posted in the schools, and it doesn't matter if there are Muslims there or if any other faith is there or no faith whatsoever. But they're going to post the 10 Commandments. And the thing that I was figuring might take another couple of months to show up actually showed up over the weekend, or actually just yesterday, I think. And that was Ken Paxton sent out a memo requesting that the state look for legal justifications, legal ways, and discover legal ways to be able to have the Lord's Prayer in the schools, to reinstitute that in the schools. You heard that right. That was the next thing. Ken Paxton has no qualms about forcing his religious perspective on students and other people in the state who disagree with him. He does not care. He thinks his is the only right way. And the people who think theirs is the only right way are the ones who were born into it and had no reason to suspect there might be others who think that theirs is the only true and right way. But Ken Paxton is looking for legal justification to require the schools in the state of Texas to read the Lord's Prayer. Now, there's already precedent from the Supreme Court that says you can't do stuff like that. But you know what? These people don't care one iota what the Supreme Court says, because you know why? They know if they can run it up the flagpole, they can run it up through the court system, they can get to the appellate courts, they can go all the way up to the Supreme Court. And if this particular Supreme Court decides that the previous ruling by the Supreme Court from years ago was wrong, then they will just overturn it. Now, look, there are lots of things the Supreme Court has done that was wrong and that did need to be overturned and did. I can think of one. Let's see, like Dred Scott. That's just one. But yeah, it was a wrongly decided decision. So these things can happen. But this court particularly is beholden to this administration in ways that are unfathomable in any time in the past. They're tied at the hip. No matter how much they say there is judicial independence, they are tied at the hip. And Paxton knows this. And he's playing on it now. Why? He didn't want to wait. He wanted to go ahead and get it going now, because everything's lined up in their favor until the midterms. So they're trying their best to get through stuff that they want done before the clock runs out. That's what's going on. They want to run it up the flagpole, see how far they can go with it, see how much they can get in their favor. They hope to get it all, but they'll settle for partial, because what will happen? Oh, wait, they're incrementalists. They'll do it again. They'll just start over again with another case and bring that one up and come a different way. Now, look, the left and the right does that. The left, I'll say it again, the left and the right does it. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know how you stop it, but what we have in this country right now, you can't count on a law that gets passed and approved in a bipartisan way in any state or at the federal government. You cannot count on that being something permanent. Because all it takes is another legislature with a different view of things, and they'll strip away all of that and start over, or they'll just incrementally change things and make it look more like what they want, or take away certain parts of it and nullify that. I mean, where's the stability in all of this? Is there a place where there's some stability in this, peace and calm and quiet? Well, I know that this nation was built on a combative form of democracy. Yes, it was. It gets that from a long way back. Oh, let me see who. Oh, Jefferson on the cabinet for Washington, Hamilton on the cabinet for Washington. Washington had to call them down because they were acting like a bunch of kids in the particular media sources that they had influence over or owned outright. Those two were going after each other anonymously and everything else, and Washington had to call them out. Tell them, you're causing division in the country. We don't need that. That was George Washington to his cabinet members. So we come by it honestly. That doesn't mean it's right, but we also don't want there to be just lockstep agreement with everything either. And what I'm seeing from the 5 and different places and pundits over on the right and on Twitter is that there are those who are trying to, how shall I say this, create the echo chamber and make sure the door is closed on it, and then make sure there's people guarding the ways people think and telling you whether or not you should think that way or not. And if you don't think the way they do, well, then you either you face conversion therapy, yeah, or you immediately get ostracized. And the wolves you get jumped on by all the wolves over there in the echo chamber, who are the police, the thought police within that. The left and the right does that. It's not specific to any particular one side or the other. It's very Genesian. It's got all kinds of faces, 4 of them, not just 2. Anyway, so Ken Paxton is doing that, trying to get that up there, and he's just trying to run up a flagpole and seeing how far he can go, get something, incrementally change it, and move on forward to the next thing. That's the way this stuff has worked forever in this country, and it is a difficult thing to deal with. It is a challenge, and it's part of the reason why many countries around the world, many other nations around the world, when they're dealing with the United States, they try to get what they can under an administration that's favorable to them at the time that administration is in power. But they know that regardless of the agreements that were made between them and your country and the United States as a nation, the next administration can renege on it at will. You can't. They know they can't trust the United States to hold it from one administration to the next, that they're going to maintain the agreements that have been made. They know that. They play on it. They use it to their advantage. Wait for a favorable administration, get all that they can, get everything that they can from us, knowing that the next administration may very well renege on everything the previous one did. Been going on for a long time. It's not new. It's not Trumpian. It's not Biden. It's not Obama. It wasn't Bush, Clinton, Bush, Reagan. It wasn't any of that. That's just the way it is. Nobody can actually trust the United States to stick to its word beyond an administration. That's unfortunate. But anyway, I digress. Let's go over to Twitter, x.com. Here we go, share screen. That one, and share. Now let's see what we have. Let me increase the size because I know you like to see what's there. All right, so this was the post I just made not too long ago about this show that you can watch it over on our website, www.cassandra-llc.com. You can go over there, check it out. It's here. Let me put a little thing up here for you to see it. Going right there, right there, right there. All right, so that's the post I made. It's on X, on both of the channels on X. And notice the first thing is, let me see, there's 244 post. I need to take a look at. Gloria Allred was at the Epstein press conference. That officially delegitimizes the whole thing. Huh. Y'all know who Gloria Allred is? Some people do, some don't. But anyway, check it out. She has been a political lightning rod on the left for a long time, a lawyer. Okay, and now we're just waiting for Ben Crump's fat ass to waddle onto the scene. This is a circus, but you're talking about the people the Epstein press conference. Look, there are people out there who were abused by what went on Epstein Island. There's a lot of people. And the people who perpetrated that, I don't care if you are a Democrat, a liberal, or whatever, or a conservative, or a Republican, whatever, however you identify, if you participated in violating these young women on that island, you need to be put in jail. Period. Release the tape, release all of the information. Don't just drip it out there. You know why they're dripping it out? You know why they're doing that? A little bit here, a little bit there. They're waiting for the next big story so that you'll lose interest in it. They're waiting to see if something will come along that will distract you more and make you forget about that stuff that happened, that horrible stuff that happened on that island. But don't forget, remember it. Remember these things. But the American memory is like about as short as it could possibly be sometimes, a lot of times. Okay, so breaking news: Surgeon General of Florida just announced all vaccine mandates in Florida will be ended. And the room erupted. All, not not just COVID. Oh my gosh. Put a quarantine wall around Florida, folks. We don't want anything coming out of there that's going to destroy the rest of us. That guy is not even he doesn't qualify as a doctor. And I really do think he and I think they selected him because he was recommended by Cracker Jacks. If he's got a doctor's title after his name, he needs to turn it back in. There's somebody more reputable who actually needs it. He's giving a voice to ignorance. The vaccines work. They do not destroy lives, with the exception of a few, very small number. But the vast majority of people who get vaccines, well, they don't die. And if you don't get the vaccines, more people will die. Science is science. Stop with the craziness. Oh my God, it's just baffling to me. Flat earthers. That's what vaccine skeptics and flat earthers, you're the same thing. Okay. All right, let me go on down. I got to find something else. Oh my gosh. What else? What else we got going on here? Matt Walsh. Okay, and this was the one I wanted to talk about too. Now look, this is Matt Walsh. He's trying to stir up trouble. Not all Democrats actually agree with what his statement is right there. I consider myself a progressive Democrat, a liberal in the classical sense even, and in the more modern progressive sense, with the exception I have nothing to do with, I cannot stand communism or socialism or fascism. Those are failed ideas. So Matt is saying, Democrats panic as Trump kills narco terrorists and stops violent crime. Okay, so let me just say this. There's a lot that I disagree with about President Trump. Everything he's doing on the civil rights side is morally and ethically wrong. Going after trans people for no reason other than they just don't like us. That's the thing. That's wrong. That is morally and ethically wrong. That is the height of hypocrisy and stupidity. To kick people out of the military just because they're transgender, when you make a big deal, Pete Hegseth, about saying that all you want to do is promote the people who deserve it, who are trained, qualified, and all that kind of, based on meritocracy. You just base it on meritocracy. That's the only way to promote people and to give them any kind of position in the military. You kicked out a bunch of people who did not deserve it. Merit-wise, they needed to stay in because you, Pete, needed them. But anyway, I digress again. All this stuff is all tied together. It's all tied together. It's connected. There's a connection between all of this. And then what Matt Walsh, who I disagree with vehemently on a lot of different things. Let me just show you what his bio says, if it's still there. Okay, look, right here. This is Matt Walsh's. He's an influencer over there, a religious influencer, and a lot of people, 3.7 million followers from this man. He's made a lot of money. He's doing really well, and I'm glad that he is. I've got nothing against that. Go for it, Matt. Make all the money you want. Now, here it is, though. See, look, theocratic fascist. He tells you who he is. He's not afraid of it. He's not hiding behind a fake name or a nom de guerre that he's just made up today because he wanted to talk to somebody secretly. No, Matt is who he says he is. We need to take him at his word. He is a theocratic fascist. However, let me back up. This statement is true. Many people on the left are throwing a hissy fit over the fact that Trump killed a bunch of narco terrorists and that he's trying to stop some crime. Well, let me tell you something about the narco terrorist thing. In my opinion, this is me, in every boat that leaves South and Central America that is loaded with any kind of narcotics that is coming in here to kill kids in our country, millions have lost their lives because of these drugs coming from South America, coming from China. If there's a boat loaded down with any of that kind of stuff and there are narco terrorists on that boat, I fully support Trump taking that boat out, destroying it. And Nicolas Maduro down there in Venezuela, we know he's tied in deeply with the narco business. Whatever we have to do to stop that man, we need to do it. Click. Notes. Yeah. Yep. And let me just show what Junior put up here. Put it on bomb screen. It's not meritocracy that he's proposing. It's learned bigotry. Yeah, it is. It comes directly out of his newly acquired religious faith since 2018, when he was trying to hide behind religion to kind of, this is Pete Hegseth we're talking about, to shield his adultery. He knew he had a problem, and you had a problem with drinking. So what did he do? He ran right straight into the arms of a bigoted bunch of Christians. Who aren't really Christians, by the way. They're just men wanting power over women. And that's what Doug Wilson is. And Joel Weedman, whatever his name is. And all those people out there who are preaching this kind of stuff, do away with the 19th Amendment so women can't vote, and put them back in the home, and make sure the man is the only one making any decisions. And if they vote, when a man votes, he votes for the whole house. He makes all the decisions on everything that's of any kind of importance, even though he says he is going to consult with his wife. His version of the Bible tells him it doesn't matter what she says. All she's there is for cooking the food, cleaning the house, and making more babies. And if she can't make more babies, well, they'll just go find another one. That's the goal, right? Trump wants to get Maduro put back in there. Actually, I think I've heard Trump. He wants to take out Maduro some way or the other. Maduro is a thorn in the side of this nation and everyone, and really Maduro is definitely not a good apple. He's tied in heavily with the narco business, narco terrorist organizations, and me personally, I would say just make sure we eliminate him and go after the darn places in Mexico where they're being put together and assembled, and all those drug cartels down there, the drug terrorists. Gloria, the president of Mexico, she needs to be like what Trump is saying of the governor and mayor of Chicago and different cities. If you don't invite them in, we're going to go down and fix it. On that, I can agree with Trump, because it is a problem. Too many people in this country have died, and they're going to be people say we have to go by, the due process and all that kind of stuff. But look, they've killed millions with the product that they supply. They have used people to traffic other people and drugs into this country, and in some cases, a lot of cases, even out of the country. I say take them out. I've got no use for those people. And I don't think we need to even worry about giving them due process when they're across the boundary of a state in another one hiding. Get them out of the way. They're causing damage to this country, and even in their own countries, they control things. But anyway, goodness, yeah. So I haven't even got into the notifications yet. How much time we have been at? 32 minutes. Okay, so proof they are narco terrorists. Okay, now I'm not going to worry about what they all said. This is one case where I actually agree with Matt Walsh, is that we're panicking over the wrong kind of stuff. Those terrorists need to be taken out, and I'm glad Trump did. I'm glad that Trump sent that message clearly and loudly. You start shipping this stuff out into the open waters, we are taking it out. Absolutely. Now let's go over to the notifications. These are sometimes fun too. A lot of times. And I've had a lot of people like that comment I made to Samantha. Let me see here if I can pull up what I said to Samantha. Anyway, Samantha is the one who said, "Where are their husbands when Chloe Grace Moretz and Kate Harrison got married?" Husbands, Samantha, marriage does not require a male to make it valid. And I don't care what you think about that. I don't care what religion or religious perspective you use to try to change all that, to enforce your view of it. Samantha, stop being an ass. That's what I told. And a lot of people have liked that. Okay, okay. And all righty, let's go find another one and see who else is saying something. Okay, so this one, I don't know what this particular thing is about. Where's my thing here? Okay. And we've got notifications. Very useless woman. Yeah. Well, she's probably not useless. Though. You're talking about Samantha D, I suspect. Selectar Maxon. I wish people would stop using these fake names. Just stop being afraid and fearful that people will know who you are. Come on. Jamie K. Ash. Punish Sar. A dog born in a stable isn't a horse. What? Okay. I gotta see what this is about. Oh, okay. What is an American? Oh, Matt Walsh. This is something that I know what Matt is trying to do here. He's trying to create a system where to be an American, you have to fit within the silo of what it means to be American. Like one of the big things that he's interested in is long time heritage here with connections to the country. He and many others, I've been watching these threads over here on Twitter and other platforms. Actually, people are saying this out loud now. And it's as racist and as bigoted as you can possibly get. But they're saying that the only people who should be an American is if you've got a long heritage and history with the country, going back generations, for instance, all the way back. I suppose there's going to be a graduated degree of what an American is. The first degree American would be, you know, oh no, let me just turn it around like this. The 32nd degree American, Mason. The 32nd degree American would be one who has been here since before George Washington. And you start coming up the scale, getting closer to the first degree. First degree American would be somebody who just arrived, they knocked on the door, they gave the pledge. And the third degree Mason, basically American, does the same thing. Only they have to learn a lot more stuff. But anyway, that's what Matt's getting at. That's what Charlie Kirk is getting at. That's what many others are getting at. They are trying to define an American as being something that gets policed with gate guards out there, and the voice of the people saying this is what it should be to be an American. But here is all it is. You know what it takes to be an American? You know what it means to be an American? This is it. There are no caveats. There's no other ways of describing this. There are no footnotes to it. There are no disclaimers to this statement. This is the way it is. Period. An American is someone who was born here. There's no qualifier out there that says within the last 200 years you're connected to all the families all the way back and all that kind of stuff. It just says this: an American is someone who was born here or who was naturalized here. That's it. If you got here 5 minutes ago and you went through the legal process of becoming a naturalized American citizen, you're an American, Matt. If you were born here on this land, in this country, until that amendment is changed to reflect whatever Trump wants it to do, the 14th, if you were born here, and the Supreme Court has ruled in this direction, if you're born here, you're an American. Yes, there are people who come into this country and it is a birth tourism event taking place. They bring Their families over here who are pregnant, hoping they will be born here in the United States, they become a citizen of the United States. There are no caveats in this to be an American. That makes them, and until that amendment is changed, that makes them just as American as anyone else who has been here 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 years, 50 years, 250 years. Same. So a dog born in a stable isn't a horse. Punish Sar? I have no idea. Oh my God. Yeah, a dog born in a stable isn't a horse. Huh? Okay. I'm not even going to try to break that one down. let me go back over here. Okay, replying to this is Babetto Joizo. Babetto Joizo? Okay, Babetto Joizo. All right. Dun, 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 dun. I don't even know what that one's about either, but let me just go see here what they were replying to. Oh, let me see. Squeeze me. Okay, this is all about marriage. Okay. Okay. Anyway, they're carrying on a conversation that I kind of kicked off for them. And don't be an ass Samantha one, that one, asking about where's their husbands. Okay, Bob, Eto, Joizo. Okay, let's find a different post and we'll get out of here just a little bit. Let me go on down here. Gay marriage was legalized because it addressed a real inequity. Yeah, true. Real inequity according to what? You? Is it just numbers? Millions of same sex couples were being denied equal rights under the Constitution. You're not entitled to something you don't belong to. It's for that same reason you can't enter children's games as an adult and can't enter women's sports competition as a man. It's basic logic. And this guy just went off the deep end. I don't know where that came from. Let me see if there's something passes as reasonable here. A lot of these images, by the way, it passes the harm and consent test. This is a random arbitrary test you pulled out of your ass, and it still disregards those who do not fit within this category. It proves nothing. Okay, well, I'm not even going to jump into all of that bullshit. Yep, me. Nope. You'd be Japanese by nationality, but not by ethnicity. Well, so what? So what? Oh, okay. Whoops. Let me see. They mentioned my name down here somewhere. David. Really, really. There's no hate like Christian love. Absolutely, Beelzebub, boob, Beelzebub. So true. So true. That hate is just amazing. That love is so hateful. Replying to Beelzebub, boob. Don't be an ask, Cassandra. How does two females make marriage? Let me just put it like this. Well, they go to the courthouse. Well, they go to the courthouse and they go to the courthouse. That's how they, yeah, there. Is that the answer? That's probably not what you were wanting there, David, Mr. Anim. Well, they go to the courthouse, get married, bring the paper, bring the certificate home, and then share it with where it's needed. That's all. That's all you. That's it. Okay. Yeah, buddy. Okay. Oh, okay. Bigamy does not involve affairs. spouses are aware, but it's being non-virtuous because it involves a same-sex partner. It is you who are being observed with your tautological reasoning here. If your personal like it, it's therefore legitimate. No, it's legitimate because it's the law. No, it's legitimate. Let me see. I know how to put it. Legitimate because it's the law. Okay. Anyway, I could go on and on, replying down here. Oh, they're replying. Squeeze me. Marriage law isn't about validating every random thing someone calls love. It's about protecting rights between people, consent, inheritance, custody, medical decisions, taxes. The plant can't consent. Yeah, somebody mentioned that that's what you could allow it to happen. Can't hold property, can't exercise rights. Comparing same-sex couples to fighting for equal rights to someone marrying is a ficus is silly. Is a ficus is silly. Okay. Oh, comparing them to someone marrying a ficus is silly. Yeah, exactly. Right. These people are just polygamy fails. Historic. Okay, well, whatever. I'm done with that one. Now let's go check out my other page. There's 11 comments on that one. Now, let's see. This one is the conversations are different between one to the other. Mad Wash. So these alleged. I'm not going down Matt's again. Go see the notifications. Like your require. Like my reply. Yes, regardless of how long they've been citizens of our nation, they are still Americans. Yes. Nothing here. All right. So everybody, thank you so much. Stop sharing. Sorry about that. Unable to share the screen. Okay. So I hope you've had a wonderful day. I have. I'm tired. I'm really tired. Don't know why. Come back tomorrow around noon-ish Eastern time and at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll do this stuff again. I'm sure there'll be something else to talk about. There always